Quick announcement, all of my APB streams, both the past and the future streams, will be moved to a different channel. You can subscribe to my new APB stream channel linked down below. It will include all the episodes from the past, including the future ones. I'm still working on uploading all of that at the moment. You can subscribe to the APB stream channel. It's right above the Twitch channel, which you can follow me there too. Get subscribed and don't miss your weekly streams, Saturday 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I've already talked about shady free speech social media apps in my last video. I've already said that whatever popular social media that you're using right now already has a lot of your data, so why make the situation worse by signing up into even shadier free speech apps with even shadier privacy and even shadier connections? But what if someone take it to the next level? What if it's not a free speech app, but a free speech phone? Introducing the Freedom Phone. What is the Freedom Phone, you might ask? Well, I think we should just let the marketing speak for itself. Oh wow, great website. You already got the American flag waving on the banner just to show you all that we people care about freedom, we care about free speech, we care about you, and this product is 100% American. Yeah, we'll get to that. The marketing department couldn't afford recording a waving American flag on their own, so they just grabbed some stock footage off of YouTube, but the resolution of the flag looks like garbage on the website. Seriously, I expect the company who owns Freedom Phone to own an American flag somewhere, but apparently not. And why should they? This is a blatant grift from some billionaire who wants to reap all of your money by exploiting your desire of wanting more free speech. Don't fall for it. I noticed this phone thanks to some ordinary gamers, aka Mudahar, tweeting about it and being super sus about it. He's excited to buy the phone himself just so that he can see what's in there. I can't wait for that video, Muda, don't disappoint me. But anyway, the tweet that he quote tweeted is a video from the phone's founder, Eric Finman. The video is pretty freaking cheesy. He's apparently a high school dropout and become the youngest Bitcoin millionaire. Good for you, Eric. So now you're gonna invest some of that money by selling phones that will appeal to all the conservative boomers on the internet who wants freedom of speech from the big tech, but at the same time can't tell the difference between a USB and a Cardi B. So how much is the price of this phone, you might ask? $500. My god, are you serious? $500? $500 for a smartphone is mid-range territory. That means that this phone must have some really good specs. For the record, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A72 for the same price with shipping. That is a really good phone, and I totally recommend it if you're aiming for something mid-range, good speakers, high refresh rate, and with a headphone jack. Here's the phone that I use as my daily driver. It's a Samsung M51. This has the same specs as my previous phone, the A71, which is the previous generation of the A72, and it's my brother's phone now. The main difference is this is a thick boy, and there's one reason for that. It has a 7,000 milliamp hour battery. To put it in perspective, the Samsung S21 Ultra has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. Absolutely freaking overkill, but I love it. Samsung may be the Apple of Android and they remove all sorts of features from their flagships, but at least they try to appeal to the mid-range and the plebs. And guess how much the M51 costs? $380. So alright then, Freedom Phone, with a $500 price tag, not including shipping, you're gonna have to really sell me on this. Your phone has to be really good with decent specs. Explain to me why I should buy your phone when the M51 is a fraction of the price and I can get it here with less shipping costs. Explain to me why I should buy your phone when I can just jailbreak my M51, install some custom ROMs and apps, and have a lot more control on my privacy. All I want is to see the spec sheets and compare benchmarks, but here's the thing, the website doesn't provide that because this website is designed for boomers. It's designed to sell people a lot more so on its quote-unquote freedom features at the expense of the phone's actual quality, which I am more interested in because I don't want you to get fooled by this. So don't worry, boomers and tech illiterate people on the internet, let me show you why this entire thing smells like bullcrap. Uncensorable App Store. Interesting. So are you gonna add 18+ apps there too? I mean, you don't ban apps, period, right?
We don't ban apps, period.
Yeah, you're gonna say a different tune when the government find apps that allow you to do illegal activities. What about malwares? How are you going to deal with them? How are you going to adhere to your nothing is censored principle if you're gonna ban certain apps anyway? What makes your store ecosystem better than Google Play or Apple Store? The preloaded apps in there are also interesting. You got DuckDuckGo, obviously, you got Parler and Minds, but what's really bizarre is that apparently Fortnite is pre-installed on the phone. I guess if you want to have some games in there, it might as well be Fortnite, but why Fortnite though? Fortnite is a Zoomer game, and this phone's target audience are a lot older than the Zoomers, so this is a really bizarre decision. Even I don't want to play Fortnite. I might as well play Solitaire in there. At least Solitaire won't charge me with some stupid V-Bucks. Their next selling point is Freedom OS, which is just a customized version of Android. It's definitely an Android phone, and you might be surprised to hear that Android is actually open source, which means that all sorts of companies around the world like Samsung, OnePlus, Xiaomi, etc. can manufacture their own version. Huawei had to manufacture their own OS called Harmony OS due to them being banned from all sorts of businesses with the US, though that one is more based on a Linux kernel while using Android's open source codes to support the apps. So how is this OS gonna be different with other Android OS? What kind of security measures or services that you're gonna be using to run the OS in general? Is it just a stock Android OS but you slap the word freedom on it so that it sounds good in marketing? Because I'm starting to feel like it is. The phone also promotes a privacy guard called Trust. Say hello to Trust. What is Trust? Well, it allows you to control how much components can apps control in your phone. I guess it's also an antivirus and anti-spyware of some sort because it will also let you know about possible threats? I don't know. But what I do know is that all of these security features can be done on your current Android phone if you just explore the security settings and app privileges. And of course, the marketing tagline is not just making America great, but also making a great phone. That would imply that you actually did make the phone. We'll get to that in a bit. The website doesn't have anything about the phone's specs, features, cameras, etc. It tells us that it has a large storage. Okay. How much? How many gigabytes of storage can we have on this phone? What about the RAM? How much RAM does it have? No answers whatsoever. It's almost as if the website is designed for boomers who know jack squat about technology and can get easily manipulated with anti-big tech censorship marketing speech. Here's another marketing tagline. It does everything your current phone does other than censor you. You do realize that the one that's censoring you are the social media websites that you can access through the phone's apps, not the phone itself. People can take nudes on their phones and send them left and right. You can say all sorts of heinous stuff as your phone records everything about it. So it's not the phone that's censoring you. It's the social media apps that you install on your phone that accesses the websites that censor you. Anyway, easily transfer phones. That's just a basic feature, but I do like the fact that it has 2 dedicated SIM slots and 1 microSD card slot instead of a shared microSD and SIM slot. Wait a second, SIMs? That's right, you're still on the mercy of your phone's service providers. That's pretty much the only way you can get internet if you don't have Wi-Fi around, unless if the phone has a really secure internet protection, like with a VPN or something, unless if this Trust thing can provide you with free and reliable VPN services. Your service providers can still see what you're doing. How are you going to protect the users from AT&T or Verizon snooping on your browsing activities? What kind of VPN or security measures that you can provide to secure our activities? And most importantly, how much do we have to pay for them? But we've been dancing on their marketing all along. Now let's talk about the actual phone. Eric claims that the Freedom Phone is a phone that he made.
They say build your own phone, so I did.
No, you didn't, Eric. I highly doubt that you did. Here's what I think you did. There's a suspiciously similar looking phone that you can get off of Alibaba, a Chinese store. You bought the phone en masse, apply some custom logo and packaging on it, which you can absolutely do that if you order 500 pieces of the phone, which doesn't cost much for you because, hey, you're a billionaire, right? And guess what? This phone cost around $122 to $153. That's right. You got ripped off, ladies and gentlemen. You bought a $500 phone expecting mid-range performance and you get entry-level tier instead. But hey, let's check out the specs, shall we? Just from the front page alone, the cheapest option is one with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. Imagine buying a $500 phone and only getting 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. But okay, let's assume that you got 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, which is plentiful. The phone is 6.3 3 inches IPS display and not OLED, which is to be expected for cheap phones like this. In the back, you got 48 megapixel main camera, 16 megapixel ultra wide. In the front, you have 24 megapixel camera, which is pretty decent, but that's just in the spec. We don't know how the actual camera quality goes. And it runs stock Android 10, which again, you can modify. What about the CPU? Where are the performance benchmarks? Well, the phone is running MediaTek Helio P60. Thankfully, one of their marketing photos has provided us with actual numbers. It reaches 172,698 points in the AnTuTu benchmark, and you can clearly see who the censored competitor is right there. I mean, come on, you're not hiding anything, random Chinese phone manufacturers, so hey, that's a pretty high number. But that's the thing about marketing. Show that your competitor is crap so that your product looks better in comparison. What if we showed the AnTuTu benchmarks of my phone that costs significantly less than the Freedom? Oh my god! And that is in comparison to a mid-range phone that is priced less. I mean, for $153, or at least for the highest tier version, it seems alright, but they're charging you $500 for this mid-range phone. You don't get to claim that your phone is fast when you can't even beat a mid-range phone that's less priced than you. So to put it simply, you're paying $500 for a Freedom phone, which consists of a $120 to $150 quality phone, which is definitely made in China because the marketing never says that this is made in America, nor do the marketing ever say the specs of the phone, because those aren't important, right? All of that with an extra $350 fee, presumably for all the software's privacy and anti-censorship stuff. You are paying $350 more than the phone's actual worth for privacy-related and freedom of speech stuff. In that case, then all the privacy and anti-censorship stuff is better be really good. How can we be sure that our privacy and freedom of speech is guaranteed by buying this phone? We don't know, because the phone is not out yet. But here's some interesting food for thought. Someone on Twitter asked what I think is a legitimate question. What about 18+ content involving real children? If criminals use this phone, then they can also use it to spread illegal 18+ content involving real children. It seems that Eric Finman doesn't want to answer the question and straight up censor the guy by blocking him on Twitter. What's even funnier is that Eric himself doesn't use the phone because he got exposed using Twitter for iPhone. That's kind of interesting, doesn't it? And speaking of criminals using the phone, here's an interesting story for you. The FBI sold phones to organized crimes and read about 27 million encrypted messages. They sold hundreds of phones to the black market. The phone only contains one messaging app that can send messages and photos disguised as a calculator. So if you want to put more tinfoil hats on, this could be some FBI op to bait the right-wingers to say stupid stuff. And then after that, Eric will hand over the activities that you do in your phone, no matter how embarrassing or even illegal your activities are, and you might get arrested for it. But hey, let's say that you're either profoundly thick or you really want to waste some money to test this phone out yourself. You can pay for the phone and the shipping address and all of that with ShopPay, PayPal, and Google Pay. Kind of interesting how a phone talking about freedom of speech and protection from the big tech to be using payment methods from the big tech. I expected cryptocurrency payments or something, especially considering how you got rich off of Bitcoin, but I'm not seeing the options here. So at this point, it should be clear to pretty much everyone that this thing smells real fishy. But that doesn't stop political influencers to be like, hey y'all, go buy this phone with my 10% discount coupon code. That's right, 10% discount. So you're only paying $300 for the anti-censorship software fee. And yes, we got influencers who are talking about politics that are promoting this phone. Candace Owens promoted this phone, Lawrence Southern promoted this phone. Funnily enough, there was a video of Lawrence Southern actually unboxing the phone and showing it to everybody that she posted on her Twitter. I have the actual video saved on my drive, but I won't show it to you because she took it down, and I have a feeling that it's due to NDA reasons. If I reposted the video, I might get a strike like I did with The Last of Us 2 last year, so I'm gonna go on the safe side. In this video, she actually unboxed the phone, show it to everyone, tell people to buy it, etc. And presumably, Eric doesn't like that the phone is being shown early, and that's how I know Fortnite got pre-installed. I absolutely hate the fact that we as a society are incredibly incredibly vulnerable to this sort of stuff. We have loads and loads of grievances about the world and social media in general, especially in regards to freedom of speech. We expect solutions to a lot of our problems. We try to craft solutions to all of our problems, but the problems continue to persist in this hellish society that we live in. But hey, I'm so glad that this capitalistic society provides all sorts of opportunities. The poor can be rich, like the GameStop debacle, which I talked about a while ago. The rich can also become even richer by exploiting the poor. So here's a billionaire high school dropout that made one lucky Bitcoin investment, providing a solution for our grievances at a really hefty price, and he does so by exploiting us. He tells people that he got this revolutionary phone that will protect you from all sorts of censorship, a phone that looks very similar to a phone made in China that is only a fraction of the actual price, and you can buy them in bulk with custom logos and packaging. That's very sus, and quite ironic for a company masquerading freedom of speech and the American flag to be using products from China. I mean, maybe it's not made in China, maybe it is made in America, but the marketing doesn't say anything about that, nor do the marketing ever say anything about the phone's actual specs. It's just freedom of speech, big tech censorship, marketing buzzwords like, you hate X? Here's a really expensive solution that is actually really cheap, but we don't want to tell people that it is. There are products that are actually made in America. There's an entire website dedicated to showing the products that are made not in China. For example, Grado headphones. They've been making these headphones since the 90s, and I got the SR80i right here, handmade in New York by actual Americans. Go buy these. These headphones are great, by the way. And yeah, I get it. Not a lot of products are actually made outside of China, and we have to use loads and loads of them. But advertising yourself as a freedom phone while waving the American flag on your website, only to find out that the phone looks suspiciously similar to a phone that you can mass produce in China with custom logo and packaging, seems a bit misleading and very manipulative to me. Thankfully, there are people like me who look at this stuff and press the X button, and what do you know, I found loads and loads of horse crap in there. And again, as I said in my last video, this isn't a left or right political issue. This is an issue of privacy. This is an issue of technology. This is an issue of big tech. This is an issue of a pleb like me smelling bullcrap when I smell it. Unfortunately, we as a society have gotten so disillusioned with the amount of big tech censorship and unfair treatment that we're pretty much begging for whatever solution that's available, even if the solution comes from incredibly shady people whose main purpose is not to actually give power to the people, but to gain as much profit as possible with incredibly shady tactics. And it worked. It really does. And that's a shame. You're all smarter than this.